Hi. You see, governments have always lied to their people. Always. Indeed, corruption happens in the gap between the truth and what they are telling us. And under this government, while corruption within the public has reduced, we can't escape much from the all-watching eyes of the taxman. Corruption within the government has continued unabashed, increased even. For what is the government? The bureaucrats who convert individual departments into their personal fiefdoms. They get to decide whether what they're doing is good or not. Nor you, nor I. And if they start fudging data, who's going to check? Until it's all way too late. Our data collections are hierarchical. An error will only get compounded in every stream of the machinery until it sort of becomes the truth. It doesn't matter what's there in reality. If it's there on the paper, it's good enough. Then activists, consultants, journalists and academicians work on such data to give you figures which form our broader narrative. By 2030, this will happen. 42% of this is that. And so on and so forth. The numbers seem so exact and statisticky that you tend to believe it. Here's a graph. It's colorful, shiny numbers, fancy calculations. It looks good. It must be true. It sure sounds true. Another problem. Whatever sounds true only confirms what you already believe in. There are always narratives, and people use whatever data to showcase and strengthen it. Sometimes, when it doesn't match, they change the methodology of assessing data. After all, what harm can it do? Nobody believes in it anyway, right? Governments have always lied to their people. Except in this government, they have converted it into an art form. They have changed methodologies. They have withheld uncomfortable data. They have gone all out in promoting that which benefits them. And yet, it's the execution and the groundwork which attracts people. Since everyone lies anyway, might as well see what's happening on the ground by self and decide accordingly. In that sense, maybe election results are some of the fairest data that we have. While political parties do try their level best from indirect bribing to straight up booth capturing, the Election Commission and the ingenuity of the common citizen we can trust. Once we lose that, oh boy. Data collection is in itself quite a difficult task. Think about it. How many times have you actually voluntarily filled up those survey forms that your friends keep on sending over, or participated in any other data exercise? Then what you may say and what may be the truth can be two different entities altogether. We are humans. We lie. I once took a psychology test and it said I cannot exist. To their credit, this government has involved many data collection agencies to understand what's actually happening on the ground and make for better policy decisions. But they don't like releasing actual data on face value. They like it all gift wrapped up, glossed over a little. And because it does so, because it doesn't release those uncomfortable truths, how much can you really trust them? You can cast aspersions on everything, even the good stuff. And people are doing so. Governments have always lied to their people. This one continues. But people have never let governments get away with it. Our history has seen empires, dictators, seemingly unstoppable governments all run out of the public's favor. It so happened because individuals stood up, then communities did. And eventually, enough was said to be enough. Lies simply weren't palatable anymore. There were new lies, of course, but not the old ones. A bit of optics is understood, embraced even. Everyone understands a politician will need to boast of his or her credentials to get the job. But how much is too much? This government has collected a lot of data. They have tons of data, but they sure don't tell us much. especially those nasty little factoids, which is where it is all at. I'm reminded of a joke about a job interview in which the candidate goes, "I'm excellent in everything except for one tiny little flaw. I lie a bit too much." Governments have always lied to their people. The question is, will we let them get away with it? Never.